Okay, so this video is being recorded for John, who's having a very frustrating time getting his character to work inside of CTA. So let's take a look at it. One of the first issues that he has is, of course, the fact that he keeps telling me that there is this frame around this one symbol. Okay, so the very first thing when I look at this thing is that it's not two symbols. This is one symbol. If I double click on there, this is a symbol called symbol 85. Alright, so let's look at that in the library. Everything should be alphabetical order. Symbol 85. As you can see, symbol 85 basically has two symbols inside of it. Let's double click in here and see what it is. So basically, what you did here, John, is that you did both eyebrows inside of one symbol. Okay, this is this is something you're gonna have to do over. Actually, unfortunately, not so much. Actually, there's one way to fix this. Because for one, let me close this other project I had going on. Let's see here. Let's duplicate this, Control D, okay, and I'm gonna put this right below the other one. Alright, so let's see here. I mean, the easy fix, if you hadn't done all that additional work, would be to press Control B, and this would break up your symbol. You would now have one symbol, one shape here, which you would convert to a symbol, okay, left side, for example. And then you have another symbol here that you would convert that into a completely separate symbol. Right side. Alright, so that would be how you would need to fix it on a normal basis. You got one symbol here, and notice that it's a completely independent symbol that you haven't done all the extra expressions for. Same thing with this one. You'll need to do all the expressions. Now that would be your fix originally. But in your case, you have already gone inside of this symbol here, and you've created instances for both frames. So what I'm going to suggest in your case is enable the edit multiple frames feature. Go into modify markers and select range all. Okay, that will allow you to select the entire section here. And just delete it. Okay, then you'll take all of these and you will pull up the alignment panel. It's Control K on your keyboard. Select align to stage and just align them to that pivot point there. Not so much there, but right there. Okay, so now that you have them aligned, and maybe it was the other one. Let's go back in there, Control K to pull up the align panel and put them right there. So now that I have that eyebrow done, we'll just consider this eyebrow the left eyebrow. Alright, let me go into my tools panel. Where's my tools panel? Oh, it's on my other monitor. In my tools panel, select transform just to put this thing right there. Okay, now the selection tool is this black arrow, not this one. All right, so okay, so that's another thing. When I saw your video, you were trying to edit all this stuff, you were selecting using this tool, and that will have completely different functions. So you have this one left eyebrow, which we'll place here. If we don't want to do the additional work, we can just press Control D to duplicate, go to Modify, Transform, Horizontal, and that flips it, and just shift up one time, and then you have two eyebrows. So anything that happens on this one will basically happen on the other one. Let me go to the first frame here. Let me turn off the edit multiple frames feature. That way we can just see the first frame. And notice how anything that I do to this side will happen to the other one. That's because you're looking at a separate instance of the same symbol here. Now, I'm not going to do anything else right now, even though I could just fix the rest of your stuff immediately. Let's take a look at what happens when you import it into CrazyTalk. Let's go to the desktop, and I have a little folder here for you called Man with Nodes. Let's just export it there. And let's go into CrazyTalk, which will demonstrate your next issue that you were having. We'll go into the character composer after loading up the dummy. Bring in the SWF file, desktop, Man with Nodes, where are you? There it is. We'll pull him up. Now, I do know that some of these facial features are configured, and so are the hands. And I know that they're not going to show up inside of your character, and that's perfectly expected because of the way that you've done your work so far. All right, so yes, in fact, okay, this is the other thing you were having an issue with the zooming and stuff. You can quickly just go to reset or focus all, which will bring them in there, or just go in there and do that. Now also, another thing that I saw in the video that you sent me is that you had the calibration panel open. When you have the calibration panel open, there's not a lot you can do with this. Everything becomes deactivated, okay? You can move your character around, and that's about it. All right, if you want to be able to do anything else, you have to turn this off, and then everything becomes active again. All right, so that's another tip for you. Let's go back into Flash real quick and kind of try to figure out why this eyebrow is not coming in. All right, for one, the eyebrow is not configured, so that's fine. Let's configure it. Boom. All right, that places the pivot point right there somewhere, wherever the transformation point is. We'll just kind of nudge it over right there in the middle, and we'll do the other eyebrow. Boom. So that eyebrow is done. We'll just kind of place it in the middle there, and that effectively configures it. You have an eyebrow, left brow 0, and then you have your pivot point, left brow 0 pivot. That's all fine, but here's the thing, it's still not going to import into CrazyTalk, because even though the outside symbol is configured, that symbol doesn't have any configurations inside of it. Okay, so it will import this, but as far as CrazyTalk is concerned, your stuff is empty. If I click on here, this is just a shape. It has no definition whatsoever. So since you do have all of the eyebrow shapes already configured, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the eyebrow section of CrazyTalk. I could go in here manually and do one at a time. 1, okay, that's 3, there's 5, click 5. But since you already have all 18 shapes, you know what? The easy approach is just to click the automatic configuration button. We click it one time, and everything has been converted into an individual symbol. Okay, that's your normal eyebrow. This is your shrink eyebrow. That is your happy eyebrow, and so on, all the way up to your 18th eyebrow, which is your raise inner and lower brow and shrink nose. All right, so all of these are now configured, and they should import into CTA perfectly fine. Let's take a look at your eyes. I'm going to kind of shift this pivot to the side a little bit so I can go inside of your eye. Your eye seems to be configured fine. The eyelid, I'm not sure if that's a character design thing where the eyelid is at the bottom. I'm gonna assume it is. Let's see here, that's the mask layer, and your mask symbol is configured as mask. That is perfectly fine. Let's close that up. Let's see, your pupil is your pupil, okay, and it is being masked. So let's lock those together, and let's select the bottom layer, which should be your image. That's perfect. Okay, you did that perfectly fine. So let's exit out of there. Now you do have to go in here and create, no, well, not directly in that one. Let's see here. Ooh, no, there is not right. Let me see here. Your eye has one level. Okay, no, okay, so that's not exactly correct either. Okay, this, I'm gonna take this, and actually, you know what, I'm just gonna break this apart and I'm gonna recreate it. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna select that. I'm gonna call this the normal eye. F8. Wait. Cancel. Control X. Paste in place. All right, and I'm gonna convert that into a symbol. Normal. All right, so now that's a symbol. You don't need these on this level. Okay, so here you are going to go into your puppet producer for the eyes. Okay, you need to create 13 frames. Okay, from 1, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I think that's 13 right there. All the way up to here. All of these have to have different eye symbols. So this would be your normal eye. Okay, but there's nothing telling CrazyTalk that this is my normal eye. So for the sake of getting this done with one eye, we're gonna go in here and click normal. Boom. So now this is the normal eye. It's been configured, but it's not articulating. Let's double click inside of that to go in one more level deep. Okay, now this you had already had it set up as pupil. This one you already had it set up as image. I'm gonna just duplicate that real quick, and I'm gonna distribute 2 layers. All right, so this one, this top one, I'm gonna call it mask right here, just so we can make a difference, differentiate. And I'm going to break this apart because all I really need is the eye white. And now you did configure this part perfectly fine. You did everything right when it came to that. You just didn't put it in the right level. Okay, so now we have our mask again. Let's see here. Mask. Boom. So that's configured as mask. We do have our pupil down there. And we have our image. So, and they're all in the right layers. We take this, we mask it. Okay, and that puts us back to where you had it. It's just that it's one level deeper. We double click, we go back to the section that has all the expressions. Okay, so this is going to be your expressions level. All right, here's you're going to put all the different expressions. Right here you're going to draw an exerted closed eye. On frame 3 you're going to draw a closed eye. On frame 4, you're going to draw a sad eye. And the sad eye, most likely, you're going to have to go in one level deeper and separate it into the mask, the pupil, and the image shape as well. So that is configured perfectly fine. As far as CrazyTalk Animator is concerned, you have at least one expression called normal, and that's going to work. Next, we go into your nose. Double click on that nose. Okay, that nose is just a shape. It's not configured in any way, shape, or form. So let's go into our nose, and let's at the very least create a normal nose. Boom. So now CrazyTalk is going to go, okay, this is the normal expression for this nose. You did have the outside symbol set up as your nose 0, and that's perfect. But inside of it, you did not have anything that would tell CrazyTalk, hey, this is the nose to use when he has a normal expression. And for the most part, most noses will in fact look the same. So you can probably get away with just replicating this one nose. Let's see, 8 times. I would suggest breaking them apart, making individual noses, because you know there's an issue with CTA that it doesn't like the same symbol being done over and over. Select range, edit multiple frames. Okay, we're gonna break this apart. Control B, that breaks everything apart. And I'm gonna go ahead and break that one apart too, just for the heck of it. And since I have all 8 frames, I'll just go ahead and automatically configure using the Autoconfig button. Boom. So now I have my normal nose. I have my angry nose, which we could go in here and you know, do something with it. I guess angry squeezes in and goes up, something like that. I don't know. So that's your normal nose. That would be your angry nose. Then next we go to the raised nose flank. So I guess these get higher. And let's see, number 4 would be the shrink nose. Maybe something like that. I don't know. Use your own creative judgment on this. But you know, I guess for the most part, Gnosis don't change that much. So you can probably get away with replicating the same drawing. Just make sure they're individual symbols, because otherwise it's going to turn it into an animated nose while it's playing. It looks really bizarre. Next, let's go to the mouth. Okay, the mouth, you got the same thing. It's just a shape. All right, we don't want that. Let's see if I can select it. There we go. All right, I'm going to break this apart. Control B. All right, so here we have just a shape. Now we're gonna tell CrazyTalk, okay, that's my we go to the mouth, okay, that's my frame 1 mouth. And unfortunately with the mouth, there's a lot of mouths that you have to draw, and you have to draw them from frame 1 all the way through 30. But at least we have one mouth. Let's configure that as normal. If you want to go ahead and draw all 30 frames in one go, don't worry about converting into symbols. Don't worry about applying any of the configurations. Just draw them straight out from 1 through 30 and apply the Autoconfig button once you have all 30. Because otherwise what's going to happen is it's going to just autoconfig everything upon that one symbol, and you're going to end up with just the last frame, and it's not going to give you results that you want. But for the time being, you have your first configuration, which is outside. Okay, yeah, this is my mouth 0, but if I go inside of it I have my normal mouth. All right, so that's really where you, I mean, there's nothing wrong that you're doing. You have everything pretty much right up to that point. You're just not taking it the additional step that you need to do. So here's your left hand, okay, and you pointed out that you do have it configured properly, and you do. However, if you go inside of this hand, all I see is a group. Okay, there's a group there. So it's not a symbol. It's nothing that CrazyTalk is going to recognize as the hand position for the normal pose. So let's go into the hands. All right, let's convert that group into a relaxed hand. Boom. So now CrazyTalk has something to work with. Okay, this is the relaxed hand, and you will need to create 10 more hands. Okay, the victory hand, something that looks like an L shape or a 7 with a hand, the OK gesture, and so on from frame 1 all the way to 11. Okay, that's basically 11 hands. Now, if this hand is an exact duplicate of this one, then what I did here should have already been done there. Let's go inside of that and just find out. Nope, this is a group, so this one would not have shown up. So I have to go in here. Okay, that's my relaxed hand as well. Okay, now that one will show up. Okay, otherwise only this one would have shown up because that's the only one I configured. Let's take a look and see if we got everything. We'll save it, we'll export it, and we'll re-import it back into CrazyTalk. We'll give it a few more seconds. And we're done. Okay, so here we are. Here we are, born to be free. Okay, that's not where I was going to go with that. Okay, so now we have all the facial elements. We have the eyes, we have the nose, we have the mouth. We're still missing the hands. I may have done something wrong still. I don't know what I did wrong. I thought I did it right. Let's find out. Right hand 0, left hand 0. We'll go in here, relaxed. We'll go into that one. Left hand 0. And we'll go in there. It has a relaxed pose. That's very strange. Okay, so let's keep going one step further. Let's go to where this group is and let's break this apart. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of nested objects in here, so maybe that's what it needed. It was too many levels nested inside within each other. So now let's go all the way outside. Okay, it should be okay. First level, we have the right hand 0. That's fine. Double click. Second level, we have the relaxed hand gesture. If we go to the third level, we shouldn't have anything else. That should pretty much be it. But we have yet another one. So we have a relaxed image inside of another relaxed image. Okay, let's see here, make sure we got it right. Okay, right hand 0, we go inside, that should be relaxed. In there we shouldn't have anything else. Let's just break that apart all the way down. So there's no more levels in there. All right, okay, level 1 is right hand 0, level 2 is relaxed, level 3 is just a shape, and that's where we want to be at. There were too many levels nested within each other in this one. Okay, and this one, okay, we're gonna break all this apart as well. So that's it. And you know, really, so that we can save ourselves from having to do all these hands later, because you're going to have to do 11 hands, right? And for the most part, these are perfect duplicates of each other. So we can delete this one and just duplicate this one. Control D, up, modify, transform, horizontal. Okay, put that back in place. But since I duplicated after it had been configured, you got to pay attention that you modify it accordingly. So this is now the left hand 0. Okay, so you're good to go. Now from now on, anything that you do to this hand will happen to this other one. That way you don't have to do twice the work. Okay, all you have to do is go back and add the 10 additional hand gestures, and those 10 additional hand gestures will also appear on this side. So it'll save it'll save your work by 50%. So now let's see, you also had an issue with your hands, with your feet. This thing here, your pivot's right there, then you have another pivot there, and then you have another pivot like right there, and your nut is like way down there somewhere. So let's try and tweak the actual bone system a little bit. Let's see. Now, here's the thing. CrazyTalk likes straight lines, especially like with this. So one of the things that I do to fix that is I take a line from this one, from the first pivot. I'm going to create that line on a separate layer just so I can be able to separate and see what I'm doing. I take a line and just align it so that it aligns past this pivot, but extend it out all the way as far as I can. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to take that transformation point, move it to here. I'm going to align it to that right there. And maybe I should do the same thing with this arm this way, because I have alright, well, it doesn't want to align itself naturally, so we're going to just kind of visually work our way up there. Let's see if that works. Okay, I have a little bit of deformation there going on, but I could probably fix it by simply going in here and just nudging it forward. This is kind of jagged there, so you might want to smoothen it out a little bit to avoid some visual artifacting. Okay, let's see here. That's much better. A little bit more smoother. Then you can take your sub-selection tool if you want and tweak that curve a little bit more like that. So that kind of aligns it with that other one, and we're in mostly good shape. It's still not a perfect line because this one falls out of place now. Let me take a look what your character structure looks like, which might be fine, you know, if let's see, where's my line? So now that the bottom ones are straightened out, that would put your new pivot point at the top somewhere up there. Let's see if we can come up with a good a decent compromise, because ideally it should be like at the center of those or in here somewhere. So let's see here. Let's see if we can do this number there. That would mean I have to take these transform them so the bottom one also aligns itself. Okay, and that gets it a little closer to where I need it to be. Okay, you're probably gonna have to play with this more on your own time to get it to align itself better. But CrazyTalk really likes it when you have a straight line between these 4 pivot points. All right, the straighter you have that line, the more accurate you'll have on your character. Which it wasn't really that bad, but notice how this happened here. All this stuff. What is that? I don't know what that is. All right, let's see if we can replicate that right here. Maybe put this there so I know where my horizontal line would be. Switch to outline view. Place it right there. So now we're going to try and replicate this angle. I guess one way to do it would be to just kind of copy this line here and then go modify, transform, horizontal, and just kind of nudge it until it touches that pivot point. And now I know exactly how to align my pivots. So I get a pretty damn good match. Okay, let's see here. Not quite, did it? Let's see. So that should be about right. So let's take these symbols, go to transform tool, put our pivot point right there, see if we can just do something like that. Gotta put that pivot in the, up there. So that should give us a better alignment as far as the skeletal structure is concerned. Okay, so now that we've taken care of that, let's take a look at the feet. The feet seem pretty fine for the most part. Let's see here. That looks decent. Pivot point right there. They're all straight. That's good. Maybe move these a little bit down so that they intersect at the cross section between those two sections there. I mean, that's totally a matter of taste. It has nothing to do with the proper way or anything like that. All of these are along the center. That's great. Okay, the head nut, I'm assuming. Yep, that's the head nut. Okay, so these, let's just push these a little bit down more. Okay, just put them outside of the foot region so they're not immediately down there. And let's see here. let me realign this with this and just kind of push them down. That's good enough. Let's see what happens now. Save it. Control Alt Shift S to export. Okay, now that it's exported, we'll bring it back into CrazyTalk. Let it do its thing, and let's see what kind of difference it makes. You know, sometimes it will take a couple of additional tries till you get it right, but I have a feeling that it'll be a little bit better this time around. Okay, so we're still having an issue with the foot. Okay, we have all the facial gestures. We have the hands. Now this eye, the way you fix that eye, and that's because the eye is a duplicate of this eye here, and that's just a sort of a bug inside of CrazyTalk, which I recently spoke to somebody at Reallusion and been told on good authority that they are going to fix that on, you know, one of the next releases, updates. So that's a good thing. So most likely you won't have to do this ever again after they release the next update. But you go into the eye shape or the eye area, you select the eye that comes out wrong, and you basically, actually, you got to go inside, okay, where you have all your different eyes. And once you're in there, you can go into the export. Actually, no, the broken mirror button. Here, you click it one time, and you can save it anywhere. I'm going to save it to the man with nodes folder. Fixed eye. Okay, so we have the fixed eye. All we have to do really is go in there, go to the sprite editor. Usually drag and dropping works. Sometimes it doesn't. Fixed eye. Well, didn't work this time. So we'll just click here. Man with nodes. Oh, fixed eye. And there it is. Okay. So that imported perfectly fine, I think, even at the right scale. How do I get out of that mode? Let's see here. Now you can go back and fiddle with Flash until, actually, I probably should have put this back to there so I can have it at the right, because it's still like a little off, but it's fine, you know. So you have the pivot point in the right spot. You can fiddle with Flash some more to get this leg to work just right. Let's see here. Maybe adjust these a little bit more further down. Take these, Control K, remove the align to stage and just align these together. Just put those there. Do the same thing with these. Actually, I could do it with all the shapes, including the pivots. Just align them to the center. Just do that. Let me do that one more time with these guys. Oops. I just needed this side here. Okay, so those are perfectly centered. Pivot points, maybe nudge them down some more. These, maybe just a little bit more. But overall, I mean, it looks fine to me. If you continue to have it, you don't want to fiddle around with Flash anymore, you can always just modify it from within CTA itself. Let me see here. Lower torso 0 pivot, upper torso, that's fine. I would suggest putting this lower torso in the center of the torso itself and putting the upper torso pivot at the spot where the lower torso intersects the upper torso. So somewhere along here, or maybe even there, that should work pretty good. So I mean that should work a little bit better too. So let's take a look. Let's save it, export it, import it back into CrazyTalk. And that's gonna damage my eye also, but that's okay because I already exported a proper version of it. Still having an issue with that leg. It's very odd, very random. Now let me just double check one more thing here. That's the right leg, that's the left. Make sure it's just the naming that hasn't been messed up. Right, left, right foot, left foot, okay. Right thigh, right, left thigh, right shank, left shank, right foot, left foot. Okay, configuration wise, it's perfectly fine. Let me go in here and make sure you haven't had any other stuff already pre-configured that might be interfering with this. So I'm just going to select everything else that you have there. Make sure that is everything else. You don't have anything else hidden. Yeah, you got a bunch of stuff that's... Let me unlock all this. Now make sure that we click the eraser button so that we don't have any random, because like maybe you have a left leg that's already configured and is having some kind of configuration issue here. So let's go ahead and click that eraser button. Actually, let's go to the front first. Okay, let's hit this eraser, and that should clear out everything that was selected. If there was anything that was pre-configured that may have been having a conflict with some of these shapes already, then those are definitely gone right now. Okay, so let's go here. Let's lock everything. Let's leave this unlocked since this is the one that we were working on. And let's save it, export, overwrite the previous one, go back into CrazyTalk, import, give it a few seconds. Okay, so that is going to probably be as best as we're going to be able to get it without trying to figure out what the heck is going on with all this. I mean, sometimes it just doesn't like the way we do things. So we'll go into the sprite editor and just kind of, fix it. No big deal. Now, from now on, if you do need to make any more changes outside of CTA inside of Flash, be sure that when you import the new version, you leave the sprite transformations intact. You don't want to overwrite these, otherwise you'll have to fix this again manually. Okay, if you already set the joint masks, you need to make sure you leave that there. Your bone settings, if you did any changes to your bone settings, you need to click that there. And your profile group names and stuff for your styles and stuff, you need to make sure you select all these before you import the new stuff again, because otherwise you'll end up with a crooked leg again every time you re-import it. I'm gonna cancel it this time because I haven't done any new changes. Now this guy here, Now we already went through it, so we're gonna replace current sprite with the fixed eye. Boom. And let's just kind of test a quick calibration here. Oh, see, I was about to do the same thing you were doing. Let's put this guy back in center view, and now let's do the calibration. Because see, when the calibration panel is on, you can't do anything else really. Everything else becomes hidden. I hate that feature in CTA. Hopefully it'll change soon. So let's just go with the face motion. Let's see here. You don't have many expressions, so don't expect it to work until you put expressions in there.
Up, down, left, right, and some natural movement. Eyes closing.
You don't have the eyes closing sprites.
Up, down, left, right, and rolling.
All right.
Hey.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's working. That eyelid throws me off. I don't know if that's a design of you. That's your own design where you want to have the eyelid at the bottom, or the sprite was just flipped upside down at some point.
Smile. Angry. Sad.
But let's see here. Let's do a basic walk from the front. Okay, and now the reason this is happening is because you don't have anything else on the other side. Okay, you haven't done any of these shapes yet, so basically this is a 3D walk cycle. So whenever it does that, even though you're looking at the front, some of these sprites are being replaced with the sprites that are immediately to the side. I think there is a feature in here. Let me forget about this damn panel. There's a feature in here, see, affected by 3D motion. You get rid of that, so everything becomes 2D now. So even if you're doing a 3D walk cycle, it's not gonna try to it's not gonna try to replace those sprites for you automatically. It's basically gonna stick to its own angle. So if I switch to this angle, it's not gonna use sprites from any other angle. It's gonna stick to that one angle. But since we haven't done that yet, you get that. But you go to the front, basic walk, it's not replacing the sprites with anything else. It's sticking to the one angle that you have already created. And that's kind of if you want to test it that way, that's kind of what you have to do until you have all the angles properly done. You can't expect the 3D motion to be fully functional. Okay, so lastly, if you are working on a 3D character where you want to make use of all these 3D angles and stuff, just make sure you put the affected by 3D motion back on there, and maybe go in there and use this little magic wand icon here to confirm the multi-angle settings. And this will recreate the placement that you had. Okay, everything that you had here, like you have your neck placed a certain way, your arms placed a certain way, all that stuff, it's going to try to recreate that. So you don't actually have to subdivide all this into its own layers. You just gotta do it in the way that you want it. Now keep in mind that going forward, all the actual like layer placements and stuff are based on the 0 angle. All these don't matter. Okay, this arm here, for example, this one's at the top of everything else. It doesn't matter as long as the right placement for this sprite on here is the same way. It's gonna use the information from this angle to place to find the placement for that. So later on you might run into an issue where, oh, I placed it properly on the 45-degree angle, blah blah blah, but it doesn't show up right on the other one. That's because it doesn't even look at that. It only looks at your 0-degree angle when it's doing this automatic placement thing. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. If you have any other questions, feel free to start a new post on the forums, and we can continue it there, or send me an email or whatever. But when you have the full 3D enabled, it will try to reduce sprites from your other angles. That's perfectly normal. Okay, don't freak out. Oh, my head's popping. Don't freak out. It's normal. That's because it's using a sprite from a different angle. And if you want to avoid that, then just turn off the 3D stuff affected by 3D motion, and your character is going to stay within the confines of that one angle that you have done, so that when you actually test it, okay, there's my basic walk. It's only using the sprites that belong to that one angle. These little lines here, if you haven't gotten that far, you can go in here. Let me see. Did I close that already? Okay, good. Close this. Alright, so I'm gonna select that sprite. I'll take this what do you call it, the mask thing. Let's see here if I can find the darn panel. View, window, scale manager. That's not what I want. Or maybe it is. Wow, did I say scale manager? Scene manager. Joint mask. So you select the different joint masks and set them so that, you know, they show up only on certain regions. Okay, so that should block that. Let's test it real quick. So now you get a little bit more natural look to it. Now if you want those to merge, maybe, I think let me see what happens if I just move it out of the way a bit. You just gotta play around with it. Okay. Maybe right there. See, it wants to create a thing right there. So let's see what happens now. Just doing that number there where you kind of don't want that. So just find a good comfortable spot for your mask. These things are really good to work with. They're not always, they don't always behave the way you think they would. But they do make the joints kind of merge a little more naturally if you place them at the right spot. Let's see. Okay, let's kind of just stop right there. I mean, there's obviously more stuff to be done. Let me. So once you've modified your masks, you know, if you import your character again from Flash, you might want to leave that little check mark on your joint mask settings. So when we actually go in here, you can actually make use of your character now in an actual work environment. So let's go to Window. I gotta figure out where everything is. Oh, it's just hidden back there. Animation. Let's find something from the 0 angle. Since you only have a 0 angle, really you can't. I mean, you can't do too much with it. You know, you gotta. You're pretty much stuck with that with the 0 angle for now. I don't know if that one's gonna work because it's still using 3D shapes. Let's see. Preference. Allow 3D motion editing within 2D clip. Let's remove that. No. Control Z. Let me see what else we can do to fine-tune this a little bit more. Maybe go in there and get rid of the well, it's not set up, so there's no reason why it should work. Anyways, I guess let's get rid of that motion. Let's stick to something that only uses 2D motions. 2D motions, 2D motions. Alright, so we got rid of that. Let's see that.
Good job.
Yeah,
Good job.
it's still using sprites. I mean, that particular animation is still using sprites from other angles. So until you have those other angle sprites done, you can't expect a lot of these animations to work exactly the way you planned them. There's got to be something here that's strictly like CTA 1 type of animation. Motion, well, G1 maybe. Let's see, that's still from an angle. This kind of looks like a front view. Let's see that. Oh, I guess it wasn't an animation, it's just a pose. So there's still a lot of stuff I'm having to learn myself on this software, but basically the idea is if you've only drawn the front angle, then stick to only stuff that uses the front angle, because the moment it tries to replace your sprites to do a different angle that you haven't configured yet, anything can happen. So hopefully this video helped. Let me know. I'll talk to you later.